This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, this is Vernon Stating, and today we're going to be talking about the Pawn Advisory Conference and specifically talking to the sponsors of this great event. We are really excited about this conference so far. We've already got 42 companies and counting that have registered, and that means over 80 attendees so far. So we are excited. This is going to be, I think, one of the largest events in the country, and we're pretty fired up about it. Today we're going to spend some time talking to our three sponsors. We've got Bluestone Trading Company on the line. We love them and absolutely are excited about doing more and more business with them. We've got United Precious Metals and Refining, and we're going to hear a lot from them. They do some amazing things in this industry as well, and also Wexler Insurance. And so this is a great event. We're really excited about the people that we have as part of it. If you remember from our last presentations, this has really been pulled together by three main organizers, myself at Devoted Pawn Consulting, and this is something that we've been asked to do for about 5 or 6 different years, and we just finally feel like we're in a great spot and finally able to do that. And of course, we're working with Pawn Master because they provide so much value to the industry. They really go above and beyond. Even those folks that are not their clients, they are so willing to help out and give advice, and they've been great in the forums that we've created on social media. And then we've brought some new vendors into the industry in the last year or so, and Hall of Fame Financial being one of them. They're doing a great job of trying to help pawnbrokers like you guys save more money, be more profitable, and also keep more of that hard-earned money within your business while helping you prepare for the future. And I couldn't be more excited about that, to be honest with you. It's something that did not exist in this industry, and it's something that really has taken the world by storm right now. So what I want to start with is I want to reach out to Bluestone Trading Company. They're going to be our first one that's going to talk. And we have Richie on the line. I want to talk to him a little bit and have him give us a little bit of our background. So welcome, Richie.
Hey, Vern. Thanks for having me. And, I'm honored to be part of such a great event and working to make it a success for not only the vendors, but also the attendees that are coming to hang out with us. So, we at Bluestone Trading have a great background and story. Some of you might know that my father started Bluestone in '78 on the back of a motorcycle. And before Bluestone, he owned a handful of gold buying shops that were very successful in their time. And after the markets dried up, he was left with inventory and customers who remained loyal to him as being an honest, straight shooting businessman. So shortly after that, he began importing diamonds, and we grew our business exponentially through hard work, great prices, and great customer service. And, we always work hard to stay ahead of the times and stay in the forefront of our industry, from being a proud supporter of the National Pawn Association, including when he was a board member, to helping found Polygon Trade Network in 1984, and lecturing on moissanite when it came into the market in the early 90s. As far as technology goes, we've always been the forefront there as well, with, as simple as it sounds, being one of the first companies to have a website that customers could log into and order inventory and really streamline their businesses. So when I came on board in 2005, I really had a vision and desire to take the great roots that he started and grow our business to the next level of being the go-to people for buying and selling diamonds and jewelry in the USA. So, some of the things we do differently now, but with his still great work ethics, is we now offer free shipping and same-day wire payments to all of our customers, regardless if it's a $1,000 deal or a multi-million-dollar deal. We do it with a smile. Our experience in buying secondhand merchandise, including entire store inventories, has greatly helped us make win-win relationships with our customers. And, I also heavily invest in new technologies, such as testing for lab-grown diamonds, and do extensive research to see how they'll affect business as we see it today.
That's awesome. And, one of the things that I did not realize about you guys was the, the Polygon situation. I did not realize that. That's a pretty cool history. Honestly, it's something that is obviously very well followed in this industry. The other thing that I found, interesting about that listening to you is purchasing the entire store inventory. Once in a while, we have folks that, one of our presenters, Steve, he does the brokering of deals for selling businesses, and sometimes the companies that buy them don't want all the inventory, so they'll have to liquidate, a massive amount of inventory and jewelry. And I was not aware that you guys did that. That's awesome.
It's something that a lot of people don't necessarily know we do, because we run our company as very discreet and confidential. And, sometimes a lot of people in this industry especially, they have a big presence on the outside, but, it's very easy to overextend yourself with bank credit or working capital, and they rely on our services to come in and either buy their entire inventory or buy showcases out, or, it's as simple as we worked a deal for a major pawn shop recently that decided to close up after 75 years, and the owners that inherited didn't want to be troubled with trying to liquidate and have a GOB sale with expensive jewelry. So we scheduled an armored shipment and got everything brought up to our office and wrote them a check on the spot for it.
That's awesome. Well, and the other thing that I loved about, from us talking over the last couple months about this event and getting it running was that, the key things that I keyed in on were how great your guys' reputation was. I mean, I couldn't find anybody out there that had a negative thing to say. In fact, it was overwhelmingly good. And the thing that I really liked, which is what we're trying to accomplish here in this industry as well with our consulting, is to stay ahead of the times and prepare our clients for the future. And so the fact that you do that, you're actively doing that, and you're at the forefront of the industry is exactly what we want within this group. And we're glad to have you part of it. One of the things we want to talk about, obviously you're well represented within this industry. So we want to talk about, how many different events you attend every year. You're pretty active with the conventions out there.
And this is where I take a deep breath. We're active in all aspects of the jewelry industry, and it's so important for us to maintain and build relationships at these shows, which is why we do so many of them. Not only do we attend the NPA Pawn Expo and Dixie and Midwest Show, but we also do a lot of different industries, including the coin and antique show circuits. Last year we did 19 shows throughout the year, and as we grow, it's important for us as a company to stay up with the times and learn about new technologies and markets, and grow with the customers we meet at the show. We really take advantage of our international presence and have used it to grow our expertise on virtually every aspect of the jewelry industry, including antique jewelry, colored diamonds, and how international markets can affect what's going on here in the USA. And you don't get that by reading a book or playing around online. You have to be out in the forefront and pounding the pavement and really seeing with your eyes and ears what's going on out there, and understanding how those things can change drastically, and what our industry is going to look like in 2, 5, and 10 years from now. Since I came out time in 2005, we do a lot of the same things, and we have the same values that my father started with in '78, but it's a completely different business model now. And the people
it's interesting.
The people that are successful are the ones that are thinking outside the box and thinking ahead and being active.
I agree, and you're really well represented in these conventions. And again, I think it's pretty obvious to the listeners that are out there that we've got one of the best, if not the best, in the business right here representing. And at this convention, our conference, you're actually going to be there to be purchasing on site as well, right? You want to talk about that
correct.
for a quick second?
I'm looking forward to coming down and hanging out with a great group of people, and also doing a little business, buying and selling, and where I'll be down there also to talk education and talk about man-made diamonds and all the research we've done on them. And as simple as it sounds, there's still a lot of key concepts that many pawnbrokers don't understand, and maybe they're a little embarrassed to talk about, whether it's testing for moissanite and understanding what to look for. And we did a seminar for the Ohio Pawn Association last summer where we presented on all of these topics, and it's amazing how many people need help and need someone to filter information through and where to learn. So we're here helping to grow our business and grow our industry and really take off to the next level with our customers.
That's a great segue to our next question. One of the things that I ask everybody that's volunteered to present or speak at this event, why this event? And it's funny because we've all really shared the same thought process, even before we discussed it together. And so I want you to talk a little bit about that, why this event, why you're deciding to be part of this and spending some money on it, honestly, to be a sponsor. I'm curious to know, and so are the listeners.
Well, Vern, you're a heck of a salesman. But
I appreciate
all all joking aside, once I heard the approach and the fresh ideas that were going to be presented on, I was sold. I'm such a firm believer of investing in ourselves and obtaining knowledge required to be successful and grow our businesses in this ever-changing environment. And, there's so many great issues that are going to be presented on, and I think it's very important stuff to talk about, whether it's retirement and planning for retirement and saving money, and these are all very important things today.
I agree, and there's things that our clients, you run into them, and even you in the business that you're in, you're not a consultant, but you hear the challenges, and when you get to know these customers, they're pretty forthcoming about some of the challenges they have. And we've been saying for the last 10 years that this industry has changed, so much in the last 10 to 15 years, more than it ever changed in its entirety before that. And that's something we've always said, and we're going to continue to say, because it changes literally every year. And that's really a great segue kind of into our next chat with you. How do you help this? How do you see this helping the pawn industry, this event, but also what you're doing as part of this event, and the fact that we're having a conference that nobody else has really ever attempted before?
It's going to be great. As I mentioned before, knowledge is key to being successful. And as a business owner, I, as well as the rest of our great staff here, enjoy every opportunity to grow and keep up to date on new topics and trends. And, we love sharing our knowledge with our clients. We regard our clients as teammates and share a mutual goal for success. And regardless of where you are in business, from just starting out to working towards your retirement, you need to invest in yourself and think outside of the box of your day-to-day comfort zone to really plan for the future and plan ahead, so that when the time comes, you're not sitting there wondering what to do. The key talking points of this convention are extremely important to people of all ages and demographics. And you never know when you'll get that aha lightning bolt moment. And for some, this convention may bring those life-changing ideas.
I agree with that. I think the life-changing stuff happens when you least expect it. And honestly, the group of presenters we have are the best at what they're doing at the industry or the topic that they're presenting on. We spared no expense in getting the best people at that. And I think, what the takeaway from that is going to be dramatic with people. Every time we consult with somebody, it's amazing the little things that they take away. And I think that this event will be the same way. So we are so excited that you're part of this deal and being a sponsor for us. And we know the pawnbrokers greatly appreciate it too. There's been a big push towards getting more and new education in different formats and settings for these folks. And obviously it's been a success. Historically, most of the registrations happen within, the last 60 days before an event. And we know that. And the fact that we've already got such a strong representation of people attending is a testament to not only all the presenters that are there, but you guys as sponsors. And so we appreciate what you've done for us and bringing this to Pawn Nation. Thank you very much, Richie.
I think this is going to be a great show. Vern, you're doing a great job, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, folks. Have a good day.
All right, next up, we have United Precious Metals, and we want to talk to Raphael a little bit about him and what he's been going through with his background and how he got to be here where he is. So we're going to ask him. Welcome, Raphael? Are you on the phone?
I'm here, Vern.
All right, buddy. Why don't you give us a little background on yourself? We're glad to have you and United as a sponsor as well. Again, when I started asking questions about, who should we get in this industry, our clients and those that we're trying to work with overwhelmingly recommended you. And so that's a testimonial to you guys and your organization. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more about your background.
I appreciate that, Vern. United's been around since 1988. The original owners, of course, there were 5 of them, and of the 5, we still have our current owner is one of the originals. So United is a stable company. It's been around for 31 years now, and we evolve with the market. We change with the needs of our customers, and our business model specifically, as the largest U.S.-owned primary refinery, relies heavily on the pawn industry, because at United, we don't process mined gold or electronic scrap. We deal specifically and exclusively with jewelry scrap. So, of course, the pawnbrokers are a major source for us for that recycled gold, which ensures and allows us to keep our certifications with the SCS, with the Responsible Business Alliance, and a number of certifications that we have thanks to the work that we do with pawnbrokers and jewelers, not only in the U.S., but around the world.
Yeah, that's great. And you guys, like I said, the background is pretty stellar. I mean, you guys are pretty much the largest in the United States, correct?
Yes, we're the largest U.S.-owned. We have some other companies that are working in the U.S. that are based in Europe and other places, but as far as the U.S.-owned, made in the USA, United is the largest refinery currently.
Yeah, and we've seen you at all the shows, and obviously most of our clients are doing some work with you, and we're obviously working on some more coming to you, some of the larger chains that we're doing. But I think what you guys have to offer is fantastic, and the fact that it's really your bread and butter speaks a lot to you. That's why I think people really trust you guys and understand that you guys are out there for them in the industry. And you also provide a lot of education, which is good. I've seen you guys doing some free education and blogs that are going out to some large industries and different stuff like that. So we appreciate all that.
It's our pleasure. I mean, when you said about shows, we do, I believe, 24 or 25 shows a year. 7 of those are pawn shows, including the Pawnbroker Advisory show. So 7 of them are targeted specifically towards pawn. We do a lot of business with the industry, and then we do, of course, shows in Italy and Hong Kong and India and Thailand. We work with all of them, and the reason we do that is our focus is with the jewelry. All the metal that we buy from scrap, all the scrap metal that comes in from the pawn goes into our own production. When we make products that go back towards jewelry manufacturing. So we're like a recycling house when it comes to scrap gold and scrap silver, platinum, palladium, and everything that comes in stays with us. We're not farming it out or sending it to someone else. It becomes part of our feedstock. It gets refined down to its purest form and then goes back out to jewelry manufacturing. That again finds its way, to retail outlets, to the customer, eventually back to pawn, and then back to us. So it's really fascinating watching the cycle of it, and it's really an honor to be a part of something so great.
Yeah, and because of that, when I heard that, when I started to learn more about you guys and got to know that, I was super impressed about that as well, because you're really directly and indirectly supporting this actual industry, which is what it's all about. And, obviously you've been a sponsor, for the Pawn Expo before and these other conventions as well. And we're really excited that you decided to sponsor us. And so one of the questions, that's a really good segue to the next question. Why did you decide to be part of this event and this conference? And what made it appealing to you guys?
I think you touched on it briefly before. I mean, we do a heck of a lot of work educating our customers and educating the industry, not only on, things that affect us as a refiner, but things that affect the industry. I work with a great group of great organizations in California, the California Pawnbrokers Association. I'm on their vendor council, and man, the amount of work that group does specifically, and I call them out because just their organization is amazing when it comes to educating and informing their members. I mean, that's really the model that we have at United. We like to inform, we like to educate. An educated customer is the best customer you can have. I mean, this show is all about that. This is about informing, about educating, about letting your attendees know, what's out there. As a pawnbroker, I know a lot of folks run the business and maybe they have multiple locations, but you kind of get blocked in there into your own little four walls, and you guys are just opening those walls up and opening those doors up and showing them, hey, this is available and that's available, and this is what you can do. The topics that you've come up with, the speakers that you've done, it's something unique. It's something new that's, like I said, we do 24, 25 shows a year, and yeah, education is always a part of it, but it's not at the heart of it. And that's the difference with your show, and that's why we chose to sponsor it.
Yeah, and I appreciate, the compliments on that. I honestly, we cannot do this without all the different speakers and you guys being involved. And so it's really a massive full-time team effort, honestly. And, what we're hearing a lot about this event is people are excited that, it's a different format entirely because there's no vendors. They don't have to go through the event or the vendor forum to walk through and see the different vendors that are out there, but they still have a great resource for vendors that are there. They can ask for referrals. They can seek out somebody if they need it. And so we're a great resource that way. The other thing that people are saying and are excited about is that they are able to listen to every single presentation and presenter without having to pick and choose, because sometimes and actually I think just about every other conference, they are having, different breakout sessions at the same time. And so if you're stuck choosing between, two that you really want to go to, you got to pick the one you want to go to the most. That's just not the case here. So, we feel really good about this format. Like I said, I was not ready to do this 6 years ago. I feel like we definitely are now, and it's obviously showing. I think people are excited about this event, and I definitely think we're probably going to end up selling out at max capacity. So if you haven't registered yet, I would definitely do so now. And that's a good segue to our other question that we have for you, buddy, is how do you help this, or how do you see this helping, the pawn industry and the individual pawnbroker that are out there, this event?
I think, like I said, the topics that you have, I think your focus is on the pawnbrokers' growth, their expansion. I know you have a segment scheduled for retirement options, selling your pawn shop. I just think the conference in and of itself has so many different topics that can help pawnbrokers in any aspect of where they are in their career, whether it's they're starting, they've been doing it for 10 years, they've been doing it for 30 years. You've got something for everyone. And I think all the attendees that show up are going to take away a lot, not something. They're going to take away a lot of something.
Yeah, I think somebody made the comment the other day. We had somebody register from from Ontario, not just outside of Toronto. And their comment was, I may be drinking from the fire hose, but I'm definitely going to be drinking once I get down there. So I think there's a lot of excitement about, what's going on with this industry and specifically what this event can be. And we've already had people say, listen, I've already got, a European vacation planned. Are you going to do this again next year? And so to me, that tells me that this is something that's needed in this industry. And I was pretty hesitant. I think, I've stressed that a few times. I was pretty hesitant to do something this large because it's not a cheap event, especially when you don't have vendors paying for everything. It's a tough event, and it's hard to put on. So we're excited about it. I'm glad to have you on board, brother. I think we're going to call you King from now on from United. If you're good with that nickname, that's going to be your new nickname. And we are really happy to have United as part of it. So thank you so much for being part of this event and bringing it to the pawnbrokers.
we appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it. Thanks, Vern.
All right, bud. We'll be in touch. Take care.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we get to talk a little bit about insurance, and we have Gary that's joining us from Wexler. I'm excited about this as well, not only because, he resides in Florida and we do a lot of business in Florida, but we really believe like these guys are the the industry supreme when it comes to insurance. There's a lot of different choices out there, but there's several reasons why we really went with Wexler. And we're excited to hear a little bit about Gary's background and how it relates to what he's doing now. So welcome, Gary from Wexler. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing great, Vern. Thank you for the introduction. So, yeah, I'm excited about the opportunity and looking forward to it. A little bit about my background. I started back in this business in 1992. The agency, Wexler Insurance Agency, was formed in 1968. So we've been around for quite some time, and we were originally established as an agency specializing in jewelers, block, and pawnbrokers insurance. So we have a long history within these particular industries. And in fact, Mike Wexler, who was the founder of the company, his first account that he ever wrote was actually a pawnbroker. So we've been writing pawnbrokers insurance since 1968. Now, one of our things is we strive to continuously evolve and change our product to fit with the times because things change. That's the bottom line in this world. Things constantly changing, and you have to adapt with the times. And back in 1996, I created our pawnbroker package policy. I wrote a cover and went to London and spoke with a bunch of underwriters over there because we have and have been doing business with them since 1981. And we created a pawnbroker package policy, which really, I think, tremendously helped the industry. And in fact, today we're still dealing with the same underwriters. So, or many of the same. A lot of them have actually retired, but their successors have stayed in play and continued on the product. And we had this long-running history with a tremendous program. I think our policy, is the broadest of its kind in the industry. We constantly change it to keep up with the times, like I said. And it's an interesting game. So I've been involved in the jewelry business as well, which is very closely related to the pawn trade. And, there was an enormous heist that happened several years back in Cannes in France. Still to this day, the largest jewelry heist that's ever happened to a single individual store. And I actually negotiated the settlement of that claim. So, have a lot of experience within this industry. We handle everything from large publicly traded companies, multinational accounts. We write accounts all over the world, Central, South America, all over the U.S., Asia, Europe, etc. We write small mom and pop accounts. We write more of this type of business than any other specialty agency in the world, period. And I think that's a pretty broad statement.
Yeah, and I think it speaks for itself. One of the things that I've learned about you, getting to know you and running into you at these events, is that, you've been known to help, people that don't even have your insurance, that you're helping them, with their issues or what type of, coverage they should have. And I think that speaks a lot to what we're doing. And if you listen to the presentations and the presenters that we've had talk already, and all of you sponsors, we all follow that common theme. We're not out there, to gut the pawnbroker. We're not out there to be cutthroat against our competition. There's enough for everybody. But if you want to be, successful at what you do, we believe integrity is big. And I feel good about having you guys as part of our, group just because of that. So I'm excited, about your background. I'm excited about what you guys do. And I know that, it's a segue to our next question with you, which is, I know you're very active in the conventions, and specifically both pawn but also jewelry. How many conventions are you guys attending per year?
Oh man, we have a group of people that go to shows, and we're doing somewhere. We do, I think, 6 pawnbroker shows at least, maybe a couple of additional pawn-related symposium type of events. We do a couple check casher shows, and we do somewhere between 19 and 20 jewelry trade shows a year. So somebody from my organization is attending a show pretty much all the time. It's a nonstop wheel of trade shows. And, we support the industry. It's not just trade shows. We support by sponsoring events. We have people on councils, for different associations. We have people that have lobbied and gone on lobbying trips to Washington to try to push the agenda for the pawn trade and other trades as well. So we're pretty actively involved both in trade shows as well as just the industries that we deal with at a larger level.
Yeah. And it's, it obviously shows. I mean, like I said, I've seen you guys, be a sponsor and stuff for some of the larger shows. And the fact that, you're willing to sponsor our event is very humbling. And we're excited about, what you guys bring to the table and being there, kind of as a resource, not to sell anybody, but being there as a great resource. And I think that that's going to go a long way for you guys. You're obviously one of the biggest in the industry now, but I think people are going to see the value that you have. And I definitely think it's going to, open some eyes to people. One of the things that I've seen firsthand being a consultant, I've seen people that don't have, the right type of insurance coverage, and you try to tell them that, and they feel like it's like going to pull a teeth having to switch their insurance. And one of the things we're recommending to our clients all the time is I would get a review every single year to make sure you still have the right type of insurance, because things change over the course of a year.
That is an interesting point. I believe in educating people. And you touched on a subject earlier. You mentioned about helping people even when they're not your client, and that's a true statement. We're not out there to poach business from everybody. We're in the business of writing insurance. Of course, we want to write business, but we're happy to help people, and it's very easy for someone in my position or one of my producers to do a review of a policy, let you know where you're deficient. And if you have a relationship with somebody you're comfortable with, by all means, go back and have a conversation with them after we point things out to you. Of course, we'd like to earn the business, but there's no skin in the game. So at the end of the day, we're happy to review stuff. There was years ago, I was at a national pawnbroker show, and I met with somebody that was from Georgia, and we're just sitting with him on the airplane flying home with he and his wife, had to connect in Atlanta, and we're just discussing their policy. And I told him what things he should change on his policy. Never once said, hey, give me your business. Just was giving him suggestions. And of course, he went back to that broker that he had, and he did that. We're happy to do that for people. At the end of the day, a healthy industry is good for everybody.
Yes.
And if we can make somebody healthier and stronger, it's our pleasure.
And that's exactly what we're here to do too. And that's why I think this is, a good relationship in that sense. And, it really goes into, the next question we have for you, which is why this event? And you've already answered part of it, but why, you guys have sponsored and spent a ton of money. I know how expensive it is to go to these events every year. And you probably spend, oodles of dollars in that sense, being a much larger organization than us. But why this event? Why did you decide to be part of it?
Well, it's really the educational factor. I've always found that trade shows they're not personal. You're dealing with masses. You're not having a lot of one-on-one time with people. You're dealing with people coming into an exhibition hall, and you might have a couple of seconds with somebody. But when you do these educational events, you actually get the opportunity to speak with people. And when you speak face to face and you maybe discuss a topic and then have discussion afterwards, you have more time. And I think that, when people are able to learn something that can better their business and understand, we will learn from this symposium as well. It's a two-way street, but learning is beneficial to every business in existence today. So the key component for me is education. I want to help educate people of the things that they should look out for to make sure that they understand their policies and that these contracts, as they are contracts, they speak for themselves. So understand what it is you're purchasing. And by the way, if I can learn something more about the business that I don't know, it could help me to improve the product moving forward. So that's important for me as well.
Yeah, I agree. There's never been an event that I've attended in this industry that I didn't learn and take something away from, whether it was, what the pawnbrokers need, or how the industry is changing in an area that I wasn't aware of, or, whatever the case might be. And honestly, they're very important. And we know that, pawnbrokers sometimes have to decide which event they're going to go to. And that's why we want to really focus this on education, and not only education, but education that's going to provide a maximum return on investment to these pawnbrokers. And we fully believe that, what we have here with your guys' help as sponsors is definitely going to do that. And so, the last question I have for you really today, because I think it's been great getting to know you and talk to you a little bit, is, how do you think this will help the industry as a whole?
Well, I think it'll show the industry that there are other avenues where they can gain knowledge. The pawnbroker conventions are one tool, and they, bring in speakers that help to educate, and then they have their own agenda, whether it's a state agenda or a national agenda, and they hold their meetings. This type of event, I think, is really going to give more credence to educating topics where somebody can learn a little bit more in depth than a brief conversation, and then they can expand on that and expand their networks of relationships with other pawnbrokers and other vendors. I think that having the key people within the industry as sponsors or vendors, however you want to call them or label them, I think it's key. So I think that people will gain knowledge. They'll learn. They'll definitely take something that will enhance their business opportunities moving forward.
I agree, and I'm excited. I'm super excited about this event. I'm stoked that you guys are sponsors, and it makes us feel good. I know that, honestly, the communication we've gotten from the people that have registered, several of them have commented that, if these guys trust you, we're going to trust this event. And so you've brought a lot of credibility to this event, all three of you sponsors. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you for your time today, and we're definitely going to hear more from you before this event is launched. But thank you for spending some time with us and letting everybody know what it is that you do.
Well, thank you as well. I'm certainly excited to attend, and I can't wait for the event.
Vern, thanks for having us. And again, this is a no-brainer event for everyone to attend. So.
Yeah, thank you, sponsors. Again, our three sponsors are Bluestone Trading Company, United Precious Metals, and Wexer Insurance, and we're excited about them. It sounds like, as you've heard, they're really excited about this event. And you, as a pawnbroker, can find out more simply by visiting the website at pawnconference.com. There will be links to all of these different communications and marketing and education, as well as these podcasts. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you can always call us at 727-580-5876. Thank you, Pawnland, and we will be in contact very, very soon. I think that went well, guys. What do you think?
It was good.
I'm happy.
Still there, or did we lose you?
I'm here.
I'm here.
I think it went incredibly well. I think that's going to play well. You guys, followed the slides really, really well, and it's going to cut up really nicely. So we'll start working on that today. We have to download it and splice it and cut it up, but it's going to work well. I'm excited about what you guys said in there. And, the beautiful thing is we're going to have competition for this event, but ultimately this is so different. We just have to remember, if people do call you and ask you about this event, we're very different, and kind of remember the key topics that, there are no vendors selling to you. This is going to be educational, and it's going to be geared towards, getting you the biggest return on investment or the most peace of mind possible, like when it comes to retirement and that kind of stuff. And I think we'll be okay with that. This industry is primed right now. It was funnier than hell. I saw NPA and another convention this week doing what we're doing right now and what we started to do, and they've never done that before. So obviously people are following this. There's a great buzz about it. I've heard from all three of you guys. There's a lot of people discussing it and talking about it. The website's still getting probably 50 to 60 visitors a week. And it seems like once they come back about 10 or 12 times, then they register. So we're tracking that. We've got a lot of people making phone calls. I've got 2 people plus myself on a regular basis that are following up with the leads that we're capturing and that are coming in from this. Pond Master is going to have a huge blast that goes out in a week or 2. And these videos are going to be continuously released, every week. Almost every day there's going to be new content coming out until the actual event. So we appreciate all that you've done with it. We're going to continue to market not only this, but you guys for it. And I'm excited. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to call.
No, I think this is great. If there's anything else you want to redo or anything additional you want us to do, or we can help from our side besides putting a good word of mouth out there, I think this is a great approach, and kind of thinking off the beaten path is a very good idea.
Yeah, I agree. And, short little video even,
too.
like you've probably seen some of our live videos, even just a short little video saying, hey, I had a customer call us today and ask, our take on this pond conference because we're a sponsor. Our recommendation is you get registered because it's filling up quickly, or something just, funny like that. You can send that to me through my cell phone. You can take it from your cell phone. We can edit the heck out of that through us or through Pond Master or my marketing guy, and we can get that up online in a half hour. Those kinds of things go a long way because then it's not just us and Pond Master promoting it all the time, then it's other people. So I think this is going to be really good. I'm excited.
Cool.
Great.
All right,
So
guys.
everyone
Well,
take
thank
care.
you for your time.
All right, guys. Have a great
Thank
day.
you too.
And
Take care. See ya.
take care.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.